Congratulations. Congratulations to all of you who are receiving diplomas. Congratulations to all your teachers, your family, and friends who can see the fruits of their support in your diploma. You graduating students deserve the confidence that many of you feel, because if you can survive the rigors of an IIMB education, you can survive anything in the real world. So convocation speeches are meant to give you one last set of issues to think about before you're let loose on the world. What I want to put before you today are the links between democracy and free enterprise, especially in the India that you will work in. Think of this as the last class in business, government, and society. Now for the serious part. Well, democracy and free enterprise are usually found together. It's hard to think of any flourishing democracy that is not a market economy. Moreover, while a number of autocratic economies have embraced some form of free enterprise or socialism with Chinese characteristics, as the Chinese Communist Party would say, it seems to be only a matter of time before they too are forced to become democratic. So what is the tie between these forms, between democracy and free enterprise? In some sense, there is a fundamental commonality, which is that both guarantee participation to all, but neither guarantees power or success. Instead, political and economic entrepreneurs try to persuade the public that their product is the best one, and it is collective choice, whether by the electorate or the marketplace, which determines success. Now, these similarities are, of course, accompanied by considerable differences. After all, when you put together the choices in declaring winners, democracy treats each individual as equal, with each adult getting an equal vote, an equal choice. Whereas in the free enterprise system, it empowers individuals based on how much income they generate and how much property they own. There is therefore an inherent tension between systems. The less well-off majority could vote to dispossess the rich and the successful. And the rich, through their money power, could try to erode the political rights of the voter. Indeed, there's a delicate balance between democracy and free enterprise, which, if upset, could destroy both. And as I will argue in this talk, the government plays a critical role in maintaining the balance. The implications for India are considerable, and I'll come to them in the course of this talk. Now, think of why they coexist. One reason that the median voter rationally agrees to protect the property of the rich may be that she sees the rich as more efficient managers of that property. So, to the extent that the rich are self-made, or have come out as winners in a competitive, fair, and transparent market, society may be better off allowing them to own and manage wealth while taking some reasonable share as taxes. The more, however, that the rich are seen as idle, incompetent, or crooked, the more the median voter should be willing to vote for tough regulations and punitive taxes on them. Now, in today's Russia, for example, property rights do not enjoy widespread popular support because so many of the nation's fabulously wealthy oligarchs are seen as having acquired their wealth through dubious means. They grew rich because they managed the system, not because they managed their businesses well. When the government in Russia goes after a rich oil tycoon like Mikhail Khodorkovsky, few voices are raised in protest. And as the rich in Russia kowtow to the authorities to protect their wealth, a strong check on official arbitrariness disappears. Government is free to become more autocratic. Now this is Russia, but in contrast, under conditions of fair, transparent competition, the process of creative destruction tends to pull down badly managed wealth, replacing it with new and dynamic wealth. Great inequality built up over generations does not become a source of great popular resentment. On the contrary, Everyone dreams that they too will become rich, and they support the system that allows them the opportunity. So one condition for the free enterprise system to have democratic support is that it be seen as competitive and efficient, allocating rewards to the bright and capable people like you rather than just the well-connected. The second condition, however, is that most people should believe they have a reasonable shot at success in that free market. This is not a given. A poor child growing up today in an Indian village with bad nutrition, indifferent teachers, and limited access to the kind of learning opportunities available in modern cities like Bangalore starts adult life with a very different chance of success than most of you, a point that Dr. Pankaj Chandra has already raised. You have no doubt worked very hard to get where you are, but you've also been lucky to have been born in a supportive family or a community which inculcated the right work habits in you. Now, a certain amount of inequality in circumstances is inevitable and even useful in giving people incentives. But too much, and it breeds resentment of the free enterprise system. Why would the poor vote for expanding free enterprise? Why would they vote for more good jobs in finance and in consulting when they know they simply are not good enough to get one themselves? Why not instead vote for the traditional politician who promises patronage and sometimes even delivers on his promise? In sum, to obtain democratic support, the free enterprise system has to be seen as following fair rules of the game. Most people should believe they have the basic capabilities to have a reasonable chance of bettering themselves. If rewards are excessively skewed and few feel they have a chance of getting them, the system loses democratic legitimacy. And this is where the government plays a delicate role. It has to make the system fair both in appearance and actuality. And it also has to ensure the broad mass of people have the ability to participate, at least initially, on equal terms. However, the government should not go further and determine winners and losers in the economic system. For if it does that, it makes the political vote dominant over the economic vote, leading to long-run inefficiency. Equally, it cannot let money power buy votes, for that would make democracy a sham. A number of outcomes are possible if the government fails in maintaining this delicate balance. One is corporatist capture, where entrenched incumbents such as industrialists or trade unions skew the system further in favor of themselves. This has been Mexico's plight, though the new government of President Peña has decided to take on the corporatist interests by cutting the telecom barons down to size and arresting the head of the teachers' union. A second possibility is soak the rich or socialist policies, where entrepreneurs are labeled as parasitic exploiters and the public votes to tax them heavily. France is currently in the midst of implementing these policies and discovering how costly they are as the industrialists leave. The third is comparative populism, where the dominant elite tries to buy off those falling behind with sops such as cheap credit or free consumer goods. The United States, before the recent crisis, could well have been accused of encouraging cheap housing so as to assuage the anger of the middle class, which was experiencing stagnant incomes. Now, these possibilities, when carried to an extreme, lead to very bad outcomes. Corporatist policies in the past have led to fascism. Socialist policies have led to communism. And competitive populism lead to economic crisis. All three outcomes, unfortunately, are possible in India today. We import over 100 million tons